Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready. What are we tackling today?
Well, today it's the three-wattled bellbird.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this essay we've got, uh, it really paints a fascinating picture of not just the bird itself, but the challenges this species faces.
Hmm.
Like, it's actually classified as vulnerable, and we're gonna kind of unpack why that is,
Right. Yeah.
what's being done about it, all that.
Yeah, it's a classic case of how one species can really be a window into a whole ecosystem's health.
Yeah.
And the three-wattled bellbird is certainly a captivating one to study.
Captivating is putting it mildly. I mean, the essay describes the male as having this snow-white head and chest
Oh, wow.
against this rich chocolate brown body,
Okay.
almost like someone dipped a fancy dessert in chocolate.
Uh, but you can't forget the wattles.
Oh yeah,
Three long black wattles just dangling right from its beak.
that's what gets me. That's what I don't get.
Really?
The essay says their purpose is unknown.
Oh, huh.
I mean, three of them.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
You'd think we would have figured that out by now.
It's like they're going for some kind of record or something. I don't know. If I were a female bird, I think I'd be both impressed and a little confused.
And visuals, visuals are everything in bird behavior,
Oh, right, right.
especially for mating, so they've got to be important for something.
Yeah.
But
It's a real head scratcher.
yeah, nature loves its little mysteries.
It really does.
Some theories suggest that it could be a sign of age or health.
Hmm.
Sort of like how a peacock's tail shows off its genetic fitness.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Something like that.
Makes you wonder what other secrets those wattles might hold.
Who knows?
Oh, and speaking of the ladies, apparently the female bellbirds are much more low-key in appearance.
Okay.
Olive brown all over, no flashy wattles, but makes sense. Blending in while nesting, probably,
Yeah.
a good survival tactic.
Yeah.
But enough about looks, because this bird is really famous for its sound.
And you're absolutely right to emphasize that.
Oh.
This isn't just any bird call. This is one of the loudest in the world.
Oh, wow.
No joke.
Well, let's not keep our listener in suspense. Let's hear what all the fuss is about.
All right.
Let's hear it.
Here we go.
Wow.
What do you think?
It's like someone took a hammer to a giant bell.
Yeah.
I could definitely see why they call it a bellbird.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's no exaggeration either. We're talking decibel levels, comparable to a chainsaw or even a rock concert.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that echoing through a dense forest.
So it's not just loud, it's loud.
It is loud.
But
Yeah.
how on earth does such a small bird create a sound that powerful?
That is a great question, and it's all thanks to this little organ called the syrinx, which is kind of like a bird's superpowered voice box,
Okay.
and they can control the airflow and tension in the syrinx to create those incredibly loud resonant calls,
Mm.
and they need that power, because sound doesn't travel as easily in a dense forest.
So it's basically shouting to be heard over all the other rainforest noise.
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess a whisper just wouldn't cut it in that environment.
Not at all.
I'm already feeling a bit sorry for its neighbors.
Well, you've got to admire its tenacity.
Yeah, I guess so.
And when you consider that the male's main goal is to attract a mate, well, you've got to make sure your serenade can be heard above the rainforest symphony.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the looks and the sounds, but what about this bird's lifestyle? Like, where does it call home? What does it feast on?
Well, the three-wattled bellbird is what we call an altitudinal migrant, meaning it moves up and down mountainsides depending on the season.
Hmm.
Sort of like a feathered snowbird.
Oh, interesting. So where do they go for their summer vacation?
Well, during breeding season, they head up to the high altitude cloud forests of Costa Rica and Panama.
Oh, cool.
It's cooler there,
Yeah.
and the dense vegetation provides excellent cover for nesting.
Makes sense. And what about when they're not busy making more bellbirds? Where do they go for their winter retreat?
That's when they move down to the lower elevation forests, likely in search of their favorite food, which is the fruits of trees in the Lauraceae family.
The what family?
Lauraceae. So think avocados, bay leaves, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're basically avocado connoisseurs.
You could say that.
But doesn't that seem a little risky,
Yeah.
relying on just one type of tree for food?
Hmm.
What if something happens to those trees?
Well, you've hit on a crucial point there.
Have I?
Yeah. A specialized diet like that can make a species incredibly vulnerable.
Oh, okay.
If their food source is threatened, the entire bellbird population is at risk.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balance.
That's a scary thought. Makes you realize how interconnected everything is.
For sure.
And speaking of interconnectedness, we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The fact that the three-wattled bellbird is classified as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List.
Unfortunately, you're right. This
Yeah.
this beautiful, boisterous bird is facing some serious threats to its survival.
Mm.
And these threats aren't just affecting them.
No.
They're impacting the entire rainforest ecosystem.
That's what I'm eager to unpack next. What exactly are these threats and what's being done to combat them?
Good questions. Yeah, some serious threats. Well, like we were just saying before, the three-wattled bellbird is facing like a real uphill battle. The biggest threats are kind of the classic trifecta:
Okay.
deforestation, habitat fragmentation, and climate change.
Yeah, that's a heavy load for any species to bear.
Yeah.
Especially one that's, so specialized in its habitat and diet. It feels almost overwhelming.
Yeah, it's certainly daunting, but it's not a lost cause.
Okay.
There are some brilliant people out there dedicating their lives to protecting this species and its habitat. For instance, in Costa Rica, they've established these protected areas like the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that place. It's supposed to be absolutely stunning. So these protected areas, they're basically like national parks,
Yeah.
but specifically designed to preserve these critical habitats.
Precisely. Within these areas,
deforestation
deforestation is strictly controlled, and the ecosystem is carefully managed and monitored
Wow, yeah.
to ensure its health and resilience.
That's pretty cool.
It's a hands-on approach to conservation, and it's showing some promising results.
That's heartening to hear. But what about those fragmented habitats we talked about earlier? Can anything be done to reconnect those isolated patches of forest? It's hard to imagine those bellbirds, navigating a landscape that's been like chopped up into little islands.
Yeah, you're right. It's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
But conservationists have come up with a pretty ingenious solution:
Okay.
biological corridor.
Geological corridor.
These are essentially strips of connected habitat, like wildlife highways
Hmm.
that link those fragmented areas.
Oh wow, like building bridges for the birds to travel between those isolated patches of forest. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Are there any like real world examples of these corridors actually working?
absolutely. One of the most successful is the Mesoamerican Biological Corridor. It's this ambitious project that stretches from Mexico all the way down to Panama.
Wow.
It's a testament to the power of international collaboration
Yeah.
and a shared commitment to protecting biodiversity.
It's incredible to think that multiple countries can come together to create something so impactful. But what about those areas that are already deforested? Is there any hope of restoring those lost habitats?
That's where reforestation programs come in.
Okay.
And it's not, it's not just about planting any old trees.
Yeah.
It's about carefully selecting native species
Right.
that are crucial to the bellbird's diet, like those avocado and bay leaf trees we discussed.
Well, right.
Think of it as giving the forest a helping hand to heal itself.
So they're being very strategic about it, making sure to recreate the right balance of flora for the bellbirds to thrive. But I imagine it takes a lot of time and resources to see results from these reforestation efforts.
It certainly does. And that's where public awareness comes into play.
Yeah.
The more people understand the plight of the three-wattled bellbird and the importance of preserving its habitat, the more likely they are to support these efforts.
And that's where ecotourism can make a real difference,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
It's about turning awareness into action, allowing people to experience the beauty of these places while contributing to their protection.
Precisely. Costa Rica has done a phenomenal job of promoting ecotourism that benefits, both the environment and the local economy.
Hmm.
They offer guided birdwatching tours, educational programs, and sustainable lodging options, all while, minimizing their impact on the delicate ecosystem.
So you can actually go see these incredible birds in their natural habitat and know that your tourist dollars are going towards protecting them.
Yeah.
What a fantastic concept. But with all these efforts underway, is there any evidence that they're actually making a difference for the three-wattled bellbird population? I mean, are we seeing any positive trends?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the answer is it's still a bit early to say for sure.
Yes.
Conservation is a long game.
Right.
And it takes time to see tangible results. But there are some encouraging signs.
Okay.
Researchers are carefully monitoring bellbird populations, tracking their movements, and studying their breeding success.
Cool.
And this data will help them assess the effectiveness of conservation strategies and make adjustments as needed.
It sounds like it's a constant process of learning and adapting, fine-tuning those strategies to maximize their impact.
Yeah.
But are there any challenges or obstacles that are hindering conservation efforts? I mean, it's a complex issue with a lot of moving parts.
Absolutely. Funding is always a challenge.
Yeah,
Especially for long-term projects.
Yeah.
And there's the ongoing issue of habitat loss due to factors like agriculture, logging, and development. It's a constant battle against these competing interests.
And then, of course, there's the looming threat of climate change, which adds another layer of complexity to the equation. It's a lot to contend with.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
But what gives me hope is the sheer dedication and passion of the people on the ground, the scientists, the conservationists, local communities, and even international organizations, all working together to protect this species and its habitat.
It's truly a global effort, isn't it? The fate of the three-wattled bellbird and countless other species is intertwined with our actions, no matter where we live in the world. It makes you realize that we're all part of this intricate web of life.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we have a collective responsibility to protect the planet's biodiversity. What we do in one part of the world can have ripple effects elsewhere.
It's a humbling thought, but it also empowers us to make a difference. Even small actions can contribute to a larger solution. And speaking of taking action, I'm curious to know more about what we as individuals can do to help. Maybe we can dive into that next.
I think that's an excellent idea. There's a lot we can all do to make a difference, even from afar.
Okay, so let's talk action.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all been pretty struck by the three-wattled bellbird story. Their incredible adaptations, but also those very real threats it's facing.
For sure.
It feels a bit overwhelming, but what can we as individuals actually do to help?
Or that's a great question, and honestly, there's more power than we realize in our everyday choices. Remember how we talked about the bellbird's specialized diet and how vulnerable that makes them?
Yeah.
Well, we can all support sustainable practices that protect those vital habitats.
So it's not just about donating to conservation groups. It's about the choices we make every day.
Exactly. Think about the products you buy, the food you eat, even the companies you choose to support. Are they committed to things like responsible sourcing, fair trade, reducing their carbon footprint? Those things directly impact the health of ecosystems around the world.
It's almost like voting with our wallets, making sure our purchases align with our values.
That's a great way to put it. And while we're on the subject of taking action, reducing our own carbon footprint is a huge one.
Okay.
I know it can sound a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But even small changes add up.
Okay, so where do we start? I'm ready to roll up my sleeves.
Start with simple things. Swap out those old light bulbs for energy efficient ones. Be mindful of your water usage. Choose public transport or hop